I got a little tea steeping. It's actually been a fun journey, this whole no energy drink thing. I did finish the energy drinks that I had, but growth. I had a coffee this morning, tea today. I think we're chilling. All right, this is gonna be a fun one. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I've never done a teaching or like a walkthrough style video, so this will be kind of fun to kind of get into. Our youth pastor is preaching on low power mode tonight. We're on the phone earlier today. We're talking about the end of the year event, and he's like, oh, I have a sermon. He was like, but the graphic that I had, I don't really love, all this stuff. So he's like, he starts giving me the premise, and I'm like, you know what? I got some time. Let me cook something up. So this is that. Basically, in the world that we're in, it's easy to let distractions and all of that get to us, where we let our spiritual battery get drained to the point we go on low power mode and things start shutting down, things aren't working as well, all of that because we haven't gotten in God's presence and charged up our battery. So all that being said, he wanted to have a way to show all of that. Now, I've been using a lot of motion graphics for sermons lately, and I've had different transitions and stuff in Maine. So I was like, I wonder if there's a way that I can really hone in on doing that in this environment. Let's drop into my process for what I did, and I'll give you the rundown. It's gonna be a little fun. All right, so this was the raw file he sent me. It was a phone with a bunch of stuff coming out of it, showing distractions. So I'm like, man, what can I do? I had seen the other day this really cool effect where it's a rectangle and it was kind of opaque and it looked very classy. And I was like, I wonder if I can kind of use that. So I used these rectangles, right? Used a rectangle to simulate a battery. And then I put kind of the opaqueness, but to go a step further, I blurred the background to make it look like it's transparent. You know those like pieces of film or something, or like you look through almost like what do you roll meat onto, or cookies? Meat. What do you roll cookies onto? Whatever, that wax paper. Like if you look through wax paper, I wanted to kind of get that look in a battery. And so I dropped that in, and then this one was the charging. So low power mode. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, we have a battery. It's kind of opaque. We need it to somewhat signify being low. So I'm like, how can I achieve that? I played around a little bit with like this red, and at first there was a hard line in the middle, and I'm like, I don't like that. I want it to have something. And I was sitting there just racking my brain, and I was like, ooh, why don't I make it a motion graphic? Why don't I just go ahead and make it a motion graphic? So I had layered everything all on it. So we have the background that shows the chaos, and then we have the battery, and then the low power mode on the battery. And obviously the low is in the red. And so this was kind of the final rendition, right? The final rendition of the graphic, but I needed to add some elements into it. I needed to add some motion into it to make it loopable, where it's not just a stagnant graphic, because out with the stagnant graphics, in with the fresh popping graphics. So where do we go from here? So we're gonna hop over into DaVinci, and I will show you kind of my process for this. So this was the base, right? We just saw this in Photoshop. This was the base. So we have a bunch of motion graphics that we use for our screens. I found one that kind of simulates, if you look at it, it kind of simulates just like motion, but I knew if I shrink it down enough into that area, it wouldn't be as like, oh, this is clearly a motion graphic. With a little bit of a DaVinci voodoo, as they call it, I went ahead and made it shrinky dink. I think it's an add blend mode at 50 opacity. So kind of just something, I had to color it too. You do that in Fusion, you can color it. You can do it in Fusion or color corrector, either one, you can, whatever. I made it where this is just loopable. So they're gonna fire the first slide and it will loop and just constantly go through this red. And it's very subtle, It's just supposed to be a low power mode. This will be going for the majority of his sermon. It's not gonna do anything. So I call him, I send him the graphic, and this is where I will say, the number one piece of advice that I can give any creative, if you are in the church world or if you're growing into another aspect in the creative field, please be teachable, please. I can't tell you the amount of people that I have run into that don't have that teachable spirit. And no matter what you say to them, it's offensive, be teachable. You will gain so much if you humble yourself and show that you can be a teachable person and learn and understand that there's somebody in this world that knows more than what you know in every aspect. You don't know everything. And so the minute you can realize, hey, I don't know everything, let me humble myself a little, you will grow in so many aspects because people will want to teach you. I've tried teaching some people that don't have that teachable spirit, and I don't want to teach them. I want them to just, it's bad quality maybe on me, but I just leave them to their devices and they can learn on their own and make the mistakes on their own. Be teachable. So I'm on the phone with the youth pastor, right? And I'm like, man, what do you think? Give me real-time feedback. Like, I need to know if there's anything in this that like could be better or I could work on, whatever. So he's like, man, no, it looks good. And as we're talking, I'm like, hang on, didn't you tell me that you were gonna talk about being charged up? You were gonna talk about that charging aspect of it? I said, let me cook. So we have like a 30-minute phone call earlier because I'm just sitting on the other end of this call going, oh, I wonder if I could do this. And that's how my brain works. I'm very like, I have in my files like 800 final, 2.0 final, whatever. There's so many renditions because I'll export and I'll go, oh man, and it'll click. So I was like, I wonder if I can make this whole thing, the battery physically charge, turn green, and then freeze on that green and let that same motion graphic that's playing in the back keep going and let that be the loop so that it's boom. I went in and I said, let me make it do the full charge. I took away the low power mode and I put charging on there so that way it shows charging. So let me play that for you. Boom, it turns green. Charging goes away, and now we have just a green battery just cooking right there, right? And then this next one obviously is looping, and it'll just loop and loop and loop. That way it's not a stagnant background. Now the problem that I had the first time I did this was, and I exported it. I will show you the exported file. This was what it originally was. Charging, it charges, and then it turns green, and then it goes away. I exported it, I sent it to him, and I said, boom, we should be chilling. And then we're still on the phone, keep in mind, 30-minute phone call, you know, casual. I was like, wait a second. In your message, when you get charged up, you're taking away those distractions. You're taking away those things that are keeping you and draining that battery. So in order to get charged up, don't the distractions have to go away? He's like, oh yeah. I said, don't send that yet. Let me wait. So then that's where this final of the full thing, charging, the background going away, and you're left with just a battery that's just gonna kind of cook and be charged and loop. All that being said, this was fun. I really enjoyed making this graphic, and I'm starting to do that more with these sermon graphics that we're doing at the church, because I think that there's something unique when the preaching that's being preached has something that you can visually see. So I really love being able to give people a visual representation of, hey, what's happening. And I'm starting to do that more in the creative field. So like for our songs, being able to show the lyrics and show the powerful lyrics. And when we're in the sermon, being able to show those moments, that is what can make a difference in somebody's life. They can visually see something and be like, man, that resonated or that resonated. I want to give them every opportunity possible. And it's just fun. I'm working on my creativity. I'm trying to like cook things out. This was a really fun day, I guess. So if there was anything in here that you didn't understand, anything in here that I can go over deeper of like how to do, this was very basic level stuff. But if there's anything, leave a comment, drop a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. I'm starting to do this more of like half teaching and then just life, because I love just, it's my life, right? Tea, energy drinks, whatever. You never know what you get with a Dylan video. So all that to say, love each and every one of you. I hope you have an incredible rest of your week and rest of your day and days and all of that. Peace.